Hey everybody, today I want to talk about a very special album and an album that means a whole lot to me, and I'm sure it means a whole lot to you as well, because it's one of the best albums of all time, and it is Neil Young's Harvest. This album came out in 1972, and while Neil Young before this was already an established, amazing songwriter in the Buffalo Springfield, and he'd done some stuff already with Crosby, Stills and Nash. This album is really the one that just set him skyrocketing to stardom. It was such a really big hit, and it remains a lot of people's favorite album from Neil, and even some people's favorite album just of all time by anybody. For me, it's one of my favorite albums for sure. I hold it up in really, really high regard. And it just sounds so good. It was just a recording that was made with a lot of care. And as a lot of you know, I'm sure, Neil Young is just such a stickler when it comes to audio. He wants the best. And most of the time, he got the best. And with Harvest, that is very, very true. And a lot of record collectors seek out this album just because the music is so good, also because it just sounds so good. But it's kind of a hard album to find in really, really good condition, and there's a number of reasons for that. First of all, there's a lot of kind of quiet acoustic songs on this album, and as I'm sure a lot of you know, when a record has a lot of kind of acoustic tunes, a lot of quieter tunes, that leaves a lot of room for any surface noise to be heard, because the only thing being played is either acoustic guitar or vocal or harmonica or something, leaving a lot of empty space. And if anything is on that record at all, any type of dust or groove wear or whatever, it will make itself known. So this is a very, very hard record to find clean. Fortunately, this very copy is on my website, needlemeetsvinyl.com, and this one, I gotta say, guys, this took a very, very long time to try to find this exact copy. I went through probably close to 10 to 12 copies of Harvest to try to find this very one. It's quiet and it sounds amazing. And the reason this one sounds amazing is it has sterling LH on both sides, and in the dead wax, that is. And that's very, very important because that means it's got amazing sound, and this one absolutely does have amazing sound. The other really cool thing about this copy is the album is in the original shrink wrap. So I won't take it out of my little sleeve here, but as you can tell, if I can show you there, this has the original shrink wrap that this album originally came in. So that's very cool. It also comes with the original lyric sheet that's in here, which is in Neil Young's writing. Also very cool. And it's just in really, really near mint condition, the sleeve. The record, thankfully, is also in the same condition. It's almost unplayed. It's on the Reprise label. And there's the second side. And it just sounds unbelievable. This is almost like a demonstration disc. So there's a couple records that I have in my collection, and I actually have a copy of Harvest as well that my uncle gave to me that has the exact same stampers as this one. And for me, it is one of my demonstration discs. So if I ever have anyone come over who's not really familiar with records, or they think CDs sound better than records, or that whole ball game, right? And I'm trying to convince them or just show them how amazing records can sound, Harvest is one of the records that I put on for them because it always blows people away. The very first opening, like drum and bass groove on the first song, Out on the Weekend, it always makes people's eyebrows raise, and they are immediately sold on the whole idea of records sounding phenomenal. And this is one of those records. It is glowing. I cannot tell you how amazing this sounds. It's just analog perfection. Neil Young, Harvest. So if you're looking for a clean copy of Harvest and one that sounds absolutely stellar, this is the copy for you. And you can go on eBay right now, check it out, look up near mint copies of Harvest that probably don't even have the sterling stamp, and they're going for a lot of money. I tried to keep this one at a pretty reasonable price, just because that's the whole point of my website. I want to make it so there's just stellar audio quality for a pretty good price. So check this one out on my website, needlemeetsvinyl.com. Harvest, excellent. And I've got to say, my favorite song on Harvest is Alabama. That song gets me every time. It's so good. I love Neil Young's guitar playing on that song. His singing is fantastic. It's just one of my all-time favorite songs by anyone. And Harvest. It's so good. I also want to talk about another amazing Neil Young album. This one happens to be called After the Gold Rush. And this one came before Harvest. This is the album that Neil Young made right after he was working on Deja Vu with Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. And this is also a mega album for Neil Young. And it's got a bunch of, obviously, just fantastic songs like Tell Me Why, Only Love Can Break Your Heart, Southern Man is on here. Just an excellent record. And again, it's on the original Reprise label. And I will show you. There it is, side 1. And there is side 2. And again, this is another one that it took me quite a long time to try to find a copy that was in this kind of excellent condition, and this one is indeed that copy. It's just fantastic sound, and if you are looking to start your Neil Young collection, I highly recommend starting with either After the Gold Rush or Harvest, because those are fantastic introductions to Neil Young's sound, as this thing will not go in here as smoothly as I thought it would. There we go. These are both just amazing albums that I think anyone can get behind and really appreciate. He's just an amazing songwriter, and I'm sure a lot of you, this is not news to you at all. You probably know how wonderful Neil Young is. You know how wonderful these two albums are. But again, if you want amazing copies of these two albums, go to my website, needlemeetsvinyl.com. Check these out. I also want to mention 2 other Neil Young albums that are currently on the website. Now, these are more of a deep dive for Neil Young, but they're still excellent records. The first one is one of my personal favorite Neil Young records. This is Neil Young and Crazy Horse. This is Zuma. And this is an album that I've bought many copies of this album for a lot of my friends and some of my family. Like, I bought this copy for my brother Kenny, because he wasn't the biggest Neil Young fan. He knew about Harvest. He likes Harvest. He likes After the Gold Rush. But I wanted to get him onto that next level of Neil Young. And I think Zuma is a really great stepping stone, because it still has really amazing songs, amazing songwriting. But it starts to get a little bit into Neil Young's extended guitar solos and just a little bit more of a raw edge, which I absolutely love. And if you have not heard Zuma, what are you waiting for? This is just phenomenal. Even if you don't buy this from my website, go out, find Zuma on whatever streaming site if you do that, or if you find like a cheap CD, cassette, whatever. Just listen to the music on this album, because it's so great. After you do that, come back to my website, needlemeetsvinyl.com, and pick up this copy, because you will want to have it on record. And again, I'll show you. It is on the original Reprise label. This is a very early pressing, and I think it's, let's see, 1A for this one, which is obviously very early and very good. Sounds phenomenal. And again, this is another one that the record, the sleeve is in the original shrink wrap, so that's very cool. And this one also comes with a lyric sheet inside, so another cool Neil Young album. And the last one I want to talk about, this is another Neil Young and Crazy Horse album. This is Rust Never Sleeps, another one of my favorites. And this is another It's a very famous Neil Young album, obviously, and it was a big hit. But it is a little bit more of a deeper dive if you don't know about Neil Young. If you have Harvest and you have After the Gold Rush, and you've already heard Zuma and you like Zuma, then I would definitely recommend listening to Rust Never Sleeps. There's a lot of acoustic songs on side one, and some of them are the best songs that Neil Young ever wrote. One song on here called Pocahontas is absolutely one of my favorite Neil Young songs of all time. You just got to listen to it. It's like an otherworldly experience. The only song I can compare Pocahontas to, as far as like the way it affected me, was Bob Dylan's song Visions of Joanna. If you know that song from Blonde on Blonde, you know how amazing it is. Well, Pocahontas affected me the same way as that song, and that's saying a lot, because Visions of Joanna is just probably in my top 5 favorite songs of all time by anybody. Pocahontas by Neil Young is definitely in my top 10 favorite songs by anybody. It's that good. This is just a phenomenal sounding record, and just one of the best of Neil's career. And once again, you probably are going to see a trend going here. This is on the original Reprise label, and I believe this one is, if I'm not mistaken, yep, this is a very early pressing. This is, let's see, E1 in there. So another very early one, and again, just sounds really great as the wind goes whipping through my living room right now. So that's the noise you're hearing in the background there. So these are 4 Neil Young albums that, if you don't have them, now's your chance to get very good copies of them on my website, needlemeetsvinyl.com. And especially this Harvest. This is going to go quickly because I know a lot of people have been sending me emails asking me, when am I going to have a copy of Harvest on the website? Well, here it is, and here's your chance to pick it up. So go to needlemeetsvinyl.com, check out these Neil Young records, check out some other records I have on the website, and that's it for now. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.